And you do change.
You do change.
When you break up, I remember one of my partners, when we broke up, he started doing all the things that I'd wanted him to do in the relationship. And he also said the same about me. So we both started to become the people that each other ultimately wanted. But I wonder how many people get back within that first month. My mother said I shouldn't, with Sarah and Michaela. Hi, welcome to another episode of My Mother Said I Shouldn't with myself, Michaela. I am a life coach, an actress, presenter, and Sarah.
I am a health coach, an actress as well, and also a presenter. We do similar things.
She's also Scottish, which is always fun.
You went Scottish when you introduced her.
I know I did, yeah. I did Sarah.
Sarah. People call me that though. Sarah, Zena. I get everything.
That's because you say it wrong. Because you can't speak properly because you're Scottish. No joke.
Oh, Scotland are going to be on you now.
No, I do.
She is joking. You are joking. She loves me.
I love the Scots.
I think you were a Scot in a past life, though.
I think I was. I've
were.
got loads of close Scottish friends.
And you
and
love
I
being
love
up
the
there.
accent.
You sound like someone who's trying to excuse racism.
She
But
does.
I have the hair.
She's definitely. I think you were a Scot in a past life, and I actually think you might have. I'd be interested. You need to go get one of those genetic tests to see where you're from, because I 100% think you've got Celtic blood in you.
Yeah, I'm also slightly an alien.
An alien.
I wonder what that would come up with on the DNA test. Just unknown.
Well, I said this to Sarah, so there was some research, speculation that aliens are upon us. And I was like, imagine if you were an alien and you just didn't know. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked already. We've not even said my mother said. My mother said I shouldn't go back to an ex.
I think you've forgotten something.
Oh, we've sponsored by Cal.
Rude.
Oh, no. Cal. We're
We're
sponsored by RO Production.
I'm going to stop being so damn polite and start hammering
This is
down.
awful.
Jesus.
You know what? I don't even know what to say.
I'm just
Sorry,
a face.
Cal.
I'm a disembodied
Listen,
voice.
Listen, Cal's amazing.
Yeah,
He's our producer.
I am.
He is.
And
Arrow
it's
Pictures.
RO Pictures. So
Are you
sponsor
what?
us. RO or RO Pictures. You can say it either way, can't you? RO or RO Pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cal, what would you prefer? RO or RO Pictures?
I call it Row.
Row.
No,
Row
it
Pictures.
started as RO.
Oh, really?
But no,
So
it's
been different
Row.
ways.
We're getting sidetracked again. God,
We are.
Cal.
Okay, right, let's get back on the subject. Okay, so what was that?
So my mother said I shouldn't go back to an ex. Have you done it?
Right. Have I done what?
Have you gone back
Gone
to
back
an ex?
Oh, I did, yeah.
She says
I've done
guiltily.
it a couple of times, actually.
Yeah.
But, the first one was terrible. But listen, right, okay, so tell me why your mum, or why people think you shouldn't go back to an ex.
Because it didn't work the first time around, so what's changed? And I kind of get it, because you've got like all of these preconceptions of who that person is, and you've got so much history and potentially a lot of trauma from that relationship. So in order for it to work, you may have to kind of do a little bit of learning about yourself and where you need to kind of, grow in order to make that relationship work. So do they. And then you kind of need to start afresh, which is really difficult, isn't it? It's how do you start afresh with someone that you've got so many old experiences with, especially if you need to kind of forgive and move forward. I can imagine it could be very problematic and very difficult, but I could also see it working.
See, this is what I was going to say. So I think it depends on why you broke up in the first place.
Agreed.
So my first one was a cheat. So cheated. Which I never thought I'd ever go back. Went back, which I promised myself I never would do, but I did. Anyway, went back and doesn't work, because there was just, the trust was gone and that's it. And now I know moving forward, if anybody ever breaks my trust, I cannot go back. No matter how much I want to, I can't, because it's torture on myself. So I can't do it. The second time, there was other things. That wasn't cheating or anything. That was just my situation, how I was feeling, where he was at. It was all a bit messy. So in that situation, if we'd both went and done our own work, then come back. We did try to come back, and we hadn't done the work in that time, and then it just didn't. It was the same. So, but both apart now. But again, I've done my work. I know he's doing his work. If that happened in the future, we got back, I don't know, that could potentially, work if he's done the work. So I agree with that, but I do think it is obviously what separated you in the first place.
So many questions are coming up. First question, what made you go back to the guy that cheated on you? What do you think it was?
Oh, do you know, I had created this vision in my head of what it was and what it was going to be, and he was the first guy I ever considered having kids with. So that was like, I'd already created a story. I had
Like a romanticized story of what it could be, not the reality.
And I also think I was working on lack as well, thinking I was never going to find someone that I had this fun feeling with and had this connection with. But really, when I look back, it wasn't a great connection. So I learned from that. But at that point in time where I was at, I thought this has to work, because this is it. I don't know how to create that. That is it.
It's understanding when you think of like chemically what's happening in a breakup. So in a breakup, your dopamine, your serotonin, your oxytocin goes down. So you feel depleted of those nice hormones, don't you? Oxytocin is that bonding, serotonin is that happy one, dopamine is that buzz. You feel depleted and your cortisol goes up. So your stress is going up. So then fear goes up, which obviously creates this lack mindset. So the hormones in your body are depleting you of joy and increasing fear, which of course could stimulate, if you think about it, these thoughts of lack and not feeling good enough and needing to take action and potentially going back to something that's familiar. It makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. It really does, yeah, especially if you're feeling stressed out that you've not got them, and when you go back to them, I'm guessing if that increases again, all your happy hormones increase, and then you're like, oh, this must be right because it's making me feel better. But isn't that mad when if you understood your chemistry a little bit more, then you'd be like, I understand why I'm feeling like this,
right? And it's actually called, and I read this today, a neural imprint. When you have a relationship with someone, they create a neural imprint. So it's like a neural fingerprint in your head.
Oh my God, babe, that's like Twilight.
What?
That's like Twilight, the wolves. Do you know how that? No, do you know how like she got to the wolf and he said, "Oh, you imprint on the person."
Can we not ruin science with Twilight?
But it comes from somewhere. I'm telling you, because when you get with the wolf, and then the wolf, I don't know what they call wolves. Well, and once you're imprinting, that's like you're completely bonded with them forever.
I mean, I don't think it's quite the same, but.
Jesus, Sarah.
I did like Twilight.
However, love the reference. But yeah, like, so that they create a brain fingerprint in your head, a neurological pathway that seems really familiar to you. And that would make you want to kind of go back there because of that familiarity and that safety that comes with that. And the dopamine of actually probably pressing on that fingerprint,
And does that fingerprint go away? Fully, ever?
Yeah.
So over
because
time,
they aren't the person that they were, and that's the problem. I think some people go through a breakup and they think, oh, if only I'd done this, if only I'd done that, I should have been this, I should have done that, and 2 years have gone by and they're still having these thoughts, but that person isn't the same person as what they were 2 years ago, and that version of what it could have been, that romanticized version, isn't real either, and you're not the person you were 2 years ago. So really, it's all based on a false narrative.
I'm into that. That was a lot of false narratives I've followed.
But I do think it's possible, because I do know a couple who broke up and got back together. I actually know quite a few people who've broke up and got back together, and they are still together, and it's worked for them. But like you say, it's like, have you gone away? Have you worked on those areas? For me, the work never stops. You're like, oh, I've done the work for me. I'm still working on myself every single day. It does not stop. Not in a bad way. I made it sound very tiring. And when I said that,
every day.
In a really positive way. I'm still working on myself. I'm still working on my relationship with Tom. Tom's still working on that as well. We're both like, very active in that regard. But yeah, like, go away, figure out what was it that was needed in the relationship from you to serve the other person, and vice versa. Not serve the other person, but to be able to work with that other person. And if you can kind of fix those things. So for example, I had like for years an avoidance style of what do you call it, like what is
Avoidant.
behavior? Avoidant behavior when it came to relationships. I was quite avoidant. You know, I'd leave them before they left me, which obviously sometimes meant that I wasn't very open, I wasn't very vulnerable. I didn't speak about my emotions. I was too scared of rejection. Now, if I'd have done a little bit of work on those areas, maybe 10 years ago, I might have attracted a partner or whatnot sooner. Not that I regret what's happened at all. I'm very happy with where I am now. But yeah, I think I didn't reflect and instead maybe like just jumped from relationship to relationship. So I guess my point is, are you working on the things that broke down in the relationship?
I also think as well, if you're bringing past trauma into it, so I was saying this, is it Married at First Sight, and that woman, there's a woman on there, I won't say too much because I know you've not caught up with it all, but she has brought trauma onto the show, and it's obvious, and from someone that, you know, has come from that and watching that, I'm like, I recognise that, some of that behaviour. And
what behaviour? I'm intrigued.
Just how she's she's very independent. She wants to do everything herself. And I'm not saying that's a trauma response in any way. Some people can be very independent and it's not trauma. But to me, I'm like, no, this is me. I do this. You do not do that for me. Like, why would you, I'm a woman, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I can't do this. Like, a man doesn't do this. Very independent. And there's some things that's interesting if you watch it. I'm not going to say too much because you're going to watch it. But I think when you bring that in, that's something I realised with the last one, that I was taking in trauma and it wasn't going to work because I couldn't open up. I'm unable to open up and give you what I want because I've got barriers that won't allow me to do that. So I've went and done all that work and worked through that trauma as well. As you know, I've been doing years of life coaching with you, and then there was more trauma to work through. And now I'm in this space where I'm ready. But it took those relationships to figure that out.
Right.
And then when I was in it, it took the courage to be like, I can't do this. I have to step away, and stepping away from someone that you really like as well is a hard thing as well. So it's a hard journey to go on. But when you manage to do it, and it gets you in a space where you feel free to allow for love. It does not take away the fear though. I still have fear for it, and I'm still trying to I think that's just a case of working through it and getting in a relationship and pushing through that fear, working through that fear. But yeah, so people that, as you're saying, if you don't go away and do the work, you're going to carry it on to the next relationship.
And if that next relationship is the same partner,
then yeah, it's not going to work.
You mentioned trust earlier, and that plays a massive part in something like safety. Do you feel safe? Would you feel safe again? And I think that's something that we carry back to our childhood as well, with any kind of like close, open relationship, which you might have with a romantic partner, with a close friend even. If you don't feel safe, it's never going to work.
And I think that's why people go back to those partners, because it does feel safe, whereas a new partner feels uncertain.
And you're starting from scratch as well.
You're starting from scratch.
It's unfamiliar.
Is the grass greener?
Yeah.
That's another reason, right? People think, oh, the grass is greener. And then they realise, or not realise, but maybe they are awoken to the fact, actually, I realised what I had. And then some people might be like, God, they actually really were the one. And then they go back and they make it work. Like the couple of examples that I know.
If they take them back.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. If you want to leave the relationship, if you're in a relationship and they say, do you know what? I'm just not feeling it. They want to go out. They want to be with other people. And then they come back and say, actually, you are the one. Oh, some people might be okay with that. Some people not. If they've went and done the same thing, okay, cool, let's both go. That's an agreement. But if one person's like, no, I want this, and you go away, you're like, oh, well, you just want to try something else and then come back to me. And it's a shame, because a lot of relationships, great relationships, could be lost because they've not had that exploration before they've got together. Because we spoke about like people getting together really young and not having that time to just really truly experience different relationships.
And some people, and you know, I was having a conversation with someone recently about this who'd been with their partner since they were very, very young. And they were saying, you know, I've not had that experience, you know. And in my head, I was thinking, the single life is tough. Like, the grass might not be greener. You have built a solid foundation over the last however many years. You've got a child, like, you've got that safety, you've got that person who stands by you day in, day out. Like, I think we can take that for granted sometimes. But obviously I don't know their situation. But I think it can be like the grass is greener, which could lead to regret. But studies, some studies that I was reading say that the people that leave the relationship because they're looking elsewhere don't tend to go back. Usually it's the people where there's a breakdown of communication, or there's a breakdown of value, something else, something that's, they didn't really want it to end. It wasn't because they were looking elsewhere. It's because something wasn't working between them. They tend to be the relationships that reunite.
Wow.
This is what there's not an awful lot of studies on it.
It'd be interesting to see the percentage of like how many relationships when they actually get back
I've got
together.
it. So a 2009 study, 60% of the people who were in that study won renewal. So basically 60% of them admitted that they'd gone back to a partner once. 75%, 2. 40% was with a current partner who they'd finished and gone back to. So it's happening a lot. Yeah, it is happening a hell of a lot. And you do get it, because another thing we've not touched on is like loneliness, and how hard it is to sit with grief when you've broken up with someone. That is so difficult. And I know that my past, I would jump from relationship to relationship to probably fill that void of like the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin. I was probably trying to, because when you start dating again, all of that goes back up, right? And also like to maybe affirm to myself that I was enough, that someone else would want me, or that I would want someone else. Distraction. Instead of sitting with those difficult emotions, avoidance and distraction. And they also said that people with an avoidant behaviour are more likely to move on very quickly, like rebound.
Interesting.
Because they're avoiding those emotions.
I think loneliness is a huge one, though.
Loneliness is a huge one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get together because they're just stay with the partner because they don't want to be lonely.
And also, like, self-image. That's what's just come up for me then.
Self-image, what do you mean?
So, like, me as an independent single girl is very different to me in a relationship. And when I've been in a relationship, so I think about me and Tom right now, 4 years, we're now married. Woo! And I think of my life without him, a question comes up of, oh God, I'm going to need to change again. That he has become part of my identity in a weird way, right?
So interesting you say that, because like I totally feel like that. We were chatting about this a couple of weeks back, were we? How I am a very single identity. Like my identity is I am a single girl, because I have been for like 6 years, coming on 6 years now.
Is it?
Yeah, babe, yeah. Obviously I've seen people in that time. Yeah. So, but 6 years official that I've not been like, I have a boyfriend. So that's a huge identity shift. And that was another thing that I was finding it was scary to go into, going from the single to the relationship me. It's such a different, it's different. And also, who was it? I'm just throwing this out. There was a thing that said being in a relationship, having a boyfriend wasn't cool or something. Who said that? That was all over social media, saying it's like there's a magazine
having a boyfriend
that came
isn't
out
cool,
saying having a boyfriend wasn't cool or something.
I mean, I'm not cool anyway, so I'm not bothered about that.
But it's like, yeah, you're like, what is this? How is it? Because it used to obviously be really cool when
and
we were younger.
there is so much speculation as well. In terms of, a lot of people will say, oh, you should never go back to an ex. Like my mum, you broke up for a reason. And my experience is you shouldn't. But, I have never actually got back with an ex. I've nearly got back with an ex, but I've never actually got back with an ex who I finished with, apart from when I was like 15, which, I don't really count that as a particularly important relationship. No disrespect to that person. I was very young. So I think there is a lot of people will give their opinion on what you should do, but only you know what's right. And I think you hit the nail on the head when it's like, what was the reason for that breakdown? If it's infidelity, if it's a lack of trust, it's going to be really difficult moving past that. Not impossible, but very, very difficult. If you're both willing to work at it, if you're both willing to work on yourself.
And I think as well, if you separate from someone and if you've spent enough time that your dopamine hit drops, everything drops, your cortisol's up, and then you've passed that period of time where things have settled, and you're still thinking, do you know what? I've got this single life, but I'm still thinking about that one person. There was something there. The communicate, as you're saying, if it wasn't communication, I just want to try again.
And you do
that's
change.
Wonderful. You do change.
When you break up, I remember one of my partners, when we broke up, he started doing all the things that I'd wanted him to do in the relationship. And he also said the same about me. So we both started to become the people that each other ultimately wanted. But I wonder how many people get back within that first month. Because, you know, when those chemicals are imbalanced, that's probably the time where you go back. If you waited, if you sat with that, if you held those emotions and allowed that grief to pass or to run its course, maybe you won't go back because you wouldn't be persuaded by the feelings.
Yeah. But then if you allow it to run its course and you do go back, then maybe that's this 40%. That'd be interesting to see how long they waited before they went back.
Yeah, well, it is an interesting question. I would love to know your thoughts.
Yes.
So let us know about your stories. Have you gone back to an ex? Has it worked out? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this episode, please feel free to share amongst your friends, like it, and send us your feedback. Have a lovely one.
Thank you. Bye, guys.